Walking through the park one day, you held my hand, as if to say, I love you. And then we passed a brook.
Let's look at some tiny little cars. Let's start off with one of the headliners, the Hot Wheels RLC Spectra Flame Purple Dodge Tradesman van. I was very excited to get this. The color is amazing. It's got a little teardrop window there. It's not actually a window, but it's still cool. It's got a skylight, which is actually a skylight. As you can see, if I do this, you can see it lights up the car, or the seat inside. You can also see the dust on it. Because I've had it out for a couple of days now. I've been meaning to make this video. Okay, the front end. At first it looked like it was all just gray plastic, but they have painted the grille and also the white headlights. And of course the rockin'. First of all, this is, so it says rockin' on the license plate. This is the horniest Hot Wheel, I think, that I've ever encountered. It's just, it's got a, let me find the box here. I took it out of the box. You can see it's not in the box. So it's the Dodge Tradesman, very 70s logo. And in addition to having a very 70s logo, it's just a shaggin' wagon. It's got opening parts, cushioned inside walls. I mean, they're not actually cushioned, but they're, you know, done up to look cushioned. Shag rug, of course. You know, a little couch in there. You know, 70s shaggin' wagon. You think to yourself, I mean, sure, mildly horny. However, then you get to the back. It's all right. Better than using my knife though. Obviously more wall padding, and then some kind of square. What could this be? Oh, it's a bed. It's a water bed in the back of the horniest Hot Wheel to ever exist. There's a water bed in it. Aside from that, these wheels are great. It rolls great. If this van's a rockin', don't come a knockin', I believe is the implication of the license plate. These are really nice tires. And under the Spectra Flame, or on top of the Spectra Flame, rather, we've got these nice purple and then pink and then white, well, very light pink. This is just really well done. Yeah, the back doors are great. The back doors, you know, they close. That's the important thing. There's a little bit of wonkiness, but it's not as bad as this one, which has, it's just very, yeah, you don't get a proper closure. However, that's not that important, and you can always, yeah, I can't do this with my fingernail. Oh, I can. I should have believed in myself. This this one's not as firm. But you can always display it like this too. Yeah. I like looking at this one with the flashlight just because there's so many places for the light to come in from, you know? It's just a very cool diecast. I love the van, the Dodge Tradesman van. And this is just like, they're like, oh, we should do a Dodge Tradesman van. Yeah. What should we do? Well, let's make just the horniest car that Hot Wheels has ever made. Yeah, okay. I'm down. Should we run it by the bosses? We'll just tell them we're doing the, like a 70s van. I like it. I like the way you think. That's great. That's better than the other RLC. I've got the Lamborghini Countach. That van. This van gets more ass than that Countach any day of the week. First of all, you can only fit 2 people in that Countach. You can fit like 8 or 10 people in this van, so your options are... All right, now on to the next one. Here we have a Schuco, Jaguar Type E, and rolls really well. Rolls nice. The color is this, great British racing green. I love the silhouette on this Jaguar. Yeah, there's no denying it. Schucos sometimes have problems with their lights. Like, I don't know what's going on here. It just seems like a mess of glue. This is quite nice though. The underneath, and then the plastic ends here, and then it goes back to the metal underneath. But it's got screws, so this metal part comes off. I'm not entirely sure what the purpose of that would be. Yeah, the headlights are serviceable. Actually, that one looks pretty nice. They just kind of, they're not super flush, and I can get a little obsessive about that, but it's not actually an issue. Not a perfect fit on the front window, but the silver outline does help with that. Doesn't make it obvious. It's not obvious at all to the human eye. Back windows are great. The back window is really lovely, actually. It has the silver line, and it's also sort of set in. Jaguar Type E. Yeah. Inside, the steering wheel's a little ridiculous. Has a handbrake. Has molded seats, but no dash details, no coloring. The wheels are very nice. The tires are nicer than the wheels. The wheels feel a little, or look a little, I don't know. It's not quite chrome, it's not quite silver, it just looks a little flat and fake. But the wheels are great, and it really rolls. There's actually, I got this one out because I was doing the Hot Wheels RLC van, and the newest Hot Wheels RLC is the Jaguar Type E in green, but it's like a Spectra Flame green, and it just looked wrong. It just looked wrong, but it may be very cool in another color. I don't know. This to me feels very classic and nice. And again, it's an instance of Schuco doing. God, I really have a love-hate relationship with Schuco because they've done some of my all-time favorite castings and treatments of those castings. And then they've done, well, if you look back in my my video history, there's a video of me quite early on where I got so frustrated with a Schuco BMW M3 that I took it outside and I burned it with lighter fluid and I filmed it. Anyway, this one gets to live because it's actually kind of wonderful. That is the Schuco Jaguar Type E. Here we have one from MiniGT. This is a vehicle that I'm getting more interested in lately. It is the Land Defender Type 90. This one doesn't have the the Land Rover Type 90. They're all named so similar. So it's the same vehicle as this one. I mean, obviously it's not as premium, but it doesn't have the the cab on the back. It's like more of a pickup version, which I thought was a fun idea for the 90 instead of the 110 because it's got such a shorter bed. It's got one of the actual wheels and tires as the spare, which I'm always impressed by, even though it's yeah, I could have just looked. It says Defender there. I like that the opening part is basically only half of the bed. The lights are all done really nicely. It's MiniGT and it rolls really nicely. Has rubber side view mirrors to dissuade them from breaking off, although they are quite thin at certain places, so I don't think they're gonna last forever. The front headlights are nice. They're interesting. There's not a lot to them. I mean, they've got these nice silver and then copper around them, but they're really flat looking. They are inserted headlights, but they're just very flat and the same color as the paint. I mean, I assume it's just the paint underneath it. The grille is nice, simple, but not too simple. The Defender badging is nice. These little, I thought those were decals, but I don't think they are actually. I think it's painted casting. Okay, so those are kind of cool. The windows are cool. The wipers seem reasonably sized. It's easier to see the steering wheel from the other side. Yeah, it's a kind of comically large steering wheel again, but not as comically large. I wonder, do they do that so that it's easier to see from the outside? The bottoms, I mean, it's very detailed for a MiniGT, for sure. It looks like it has half of a leaf spring on each side, which I don't think is how leaf springs work. It's got a little toe connector. I don't think MiniGT does towing things, so it's for show. Yeah, not bad though, especially for MiniGT. And I do like the wheels. They're very practical. To be honest, the main selling point of this is how fun it is that it's got this tiny little bed. But I have started to like this vehicle. Not super into the 110. I like the 90. What a difference 20 can make. Okay, so here's a. I don't normally do like super high premium, very realistic hypercars, but I thought I would give it a try with this one. The colors on this are they're just perfect. This is a Hot Wheels from one of their car culture sets, maybe? I'm not even sure. They've done so many of these. They've probably done as many of these as they've done of the DeLorean. The time travel machine. Feels very substantial, rolls really well. Rubber tires, great orange wheels that go with the orange in the paint job. One thing it has is a really ridiculous steering wheel that's like, it's not even separated at all from the dash. There's some dash detail though, which kind of makes up for it. And then it's got a like a couch seat, sort of bench seat. That's it, bench seat. And then there's a pole holding it together. We don't know what's going on in the back, but probably it's more wholesome than what goes on in the back of that Dodge. I've always wanted to get one of these, and I'm glad that I did. I think that it really pops. I have a bit of nostalgic affection for Scooby-Doo, but I was never, the biggest Scooby-Doo fan in the world. I just, because it was around when I was a kid, it was, it's tied to that era of memories in my mind, and so I feel a sort of affection for it, despite at the time not feeling any particular affection for it, if that makes any sense. Yeah, the details are all done pretty well. What's this? That's almost completely unreadable. I mean, trademark and copyright HB, which I assume is Hanna-Barbera. I really like this. I mean, we're doing pretty good so far. We're knocking them out of the park. And so I probably should have mixed these up better, because up next we've got a Greenlight. Lord knows how this is gonna go. This is Studebaker Champion, which is a car I love. They still race them in the La Carrera Panamericana. I'm good, I can remember words. The details are kind of nice. And this one's a little scratched up, I guess, and a little bit off, but this appears to be the 1 in 1,000 Greenlight that gets the white walls on a car correct. The headlights look good. This flame and black with flame paint job is great. I mean, it's very classic. Back window not properly fitted. Oh, it's much more noticeable to the naked eye, actually. Which is the opposite of what usually happens. Normally, under detail, you're like, oh, that doesn't look quite perfect. And then you look at it and you're like, I can't tell. But, yeah, when you look at it straight on with the naked eye, it's not great. The back looks great, though. The lights are done good. The blacked out license plate is strange. I can't tell if that's actually words. Studebaker champion, 1954. Yeah, they still race them today. God knows how they keep them. I mean, they must be. I don't know how original any of them can be after so many years, 70 years. But this is actually a really nice model of the Champion. It's not my favorite livery. I mean, I haven't got a ton of different liveries for the Studebaker Champion, but I do have the Panamericana one, and it's that one's quite nice. Also black. Okay. I like it. I like the flames. I think the flames are done well. Another van, this one, nothing fun goes on in this van, I'll tell you that. It is the M2 Volkswagen delivery van. It is so small. It has a really nice paint job. Dia de los Muertos. The door handle's done well. Yeah, they have not. Actually, this side's not terrible. But white walls, if you can't do them, don't do them. The headlights are nice. This one's a little wall-eyed, but that's okay. We all get a little wall-eyed sometimes. The windshield wipers look like they might not be able to turn. They're a bit long. I'm sure it does have a steering wheel. Oh yeah, it does. It does, and it's absolutely ridiculous. The hubcaps and the wheels are cool. The chrome domes and the red. It's just the white walls are brutal. And this is really nice. This is actually part of a 2-pack. Where there is no difference really between the vehicles except for the fact that they've just inverted the paint job. And it looks terrible. Do we have any good white walls over here? Oh, we've got better white walls. So maybe this will be a donor car. But, yeah, that doesn't look good. It's a bit lazy. Like, you could do it in this color scheme, but don't just hit the Photoshop button and go, all right, print it, you know? To touch it up, make it look like it was intended to be white on black. I don't know. I mean, I don't mean to imply that M2 are lazy, but this one does look nice. Yeah, I guess there's not a lot to say about this one. Dia de los Muertos. The roses on the back are nice. I do like this Volkswagen delivery van. It's a weird little vehicle. It's a weird one. But that was okay. So we got two here. I'm gonna do them in order. So we'll start with this is from a Matchbox, one of the grab boxes, and it actually had a pretty cool box. It had the box had Japanese on it, and I don't have the actual box, but I do have a different car from the same series. So it's the Japan series, and this is what the other side looks like. I mean, obviously, that says, that's gonna say Datsun or Japan series in Japanese, but I thought it was a cool box, and it's a Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 4 from Matchbox. Tires look great. Rolls great. A little loud because there's plastic tires. But and it's not a bad casting. They do the door handles okay. They have little bits here for when they do a version of it that has side paint. You know, they can put a little light there, but it'll also have a bit of depth to it. On this one, they do it the way that I think is best, which is the paint is on the front and the back. Strange to go with silver on silver for the badging. It's okay where it says Evolution 4 because it's outlined in black, but you can hardly see where it says Lancer or Mitsubishi. I mean, you can see the Mitsubishi logo. The backlights are great though. They actually kind of look like they're on. It's well done. I wish this gray from the spoiler matched the car, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close. It's right-hand drive. It's got a little bit of dash detail. Now that I've got this flashlight out, I'm just going nuts with it. It has no dash detail. Those were just shadows. I guess it's got a glove box. Yeah. Guess it's got a glove box. And, okay, first let's look at this. So, I'm often quite impressed by how Matchbox does its headlights with black and white and making them be kind of muddled to create a realistic impression. But here I think it's too far. Here I don't know what's going on. It just looks like this is a, you know, I pulled it out of a box at the flea market and it's been around for 30 years and all the paint's scraped off. It doesn't create the impression that they're going for. So, they've got the vent here and this little side vent here. They look good. And then I was surprised because I thought this was going to be more of a main line. So I was surprised to find this was an opening part. And it's pretty well done. I think it's really well done. The part that impressed me the most, and it's such a simple thing, was this battery over here. And the fact that it's black, and they painted the red lead, but they also painted the black, which I thought was, you know, because it was already black, they could have got away with it, I guess. But no, they went right ahead and painted it, and it does stand out. I thought that was nice. Mitsubishi logo there. Dual overhead cams. It's a nice. They do nice engines. Not 3D, not separate parts or anything, but you know, they pay attention to the paint jobs on them. Yeah, so this is a good Matchbox, a good rendition of this car. However, when I first opened it, I was a little frustrated with it, and I think part of it was the scale. So I decided that I would open another version of the Lancer Evo 4. So I have the Tomica Limited Vintage Neo version. First, I just want to look at the scale. So this is 164, and I would guess that's 158 maybe. It does not say. Matchbox is a great company, I think. One thing that I wish they would do is put the actual scale on it. So for instance, this Majorette Peugeot 308, it says there 158 scale. Actually, let's put it next to it. Yeah, I think 158 is probably the scale of this Lancer. It might even be 157, but because I've never seen the cars next to each other. But yeah, they put the actual scale on there, and so, you know, I prefer to have all the cars be the same scale. But I think that Matchbox goes by... Matchbox and Hot Wheels, I think, are more interested in, I guess, the 3-inch scale. So they want their cars to be, you know, all about the same size. So they can go in their play sets, and they can go in, you know, and that makes sense. It's not a... I mean, obviously there are exceptions. But for the most part, I think that they aim more for usability in their toy sets, which makes sense, because they're for kids as well as for collectors. I mean, I would say that they're for kids more than collectors. Although Matchbox, I would say, well, it's hard. It's actually hard to say, because Matchbox are more accurate in a lot of ways than Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels, however, have a much more robust collector's like setup for collectors. They've got, you know, the club, the Red Line Club. They do collector-only cars, you know, like this morally questionable van. Yeah, so, you know, it's a little bit of one, a little bit of another. It's funny that even the, like, collector-ish on the medium-scale cars, Matchbox collectors, for instance, or Matchbox Superfast, are great, but they're metal with a plastic base, and they feel very insubstantial. Some of them are nice, but the Hot Wheels premium cars are metal and metal, and they, you know, they also have the rubber wheels, and they just feel more premium, I guess. Well, in any case, I've talked a lot about this Matchbox one. Let's look at the Tomica Limited Vintage, which rolls really well. Oh would say it rolls about the same, actually, as the Matchbox one, but much, much quieter. And it has shocks, although not the best shocks. Not a lot of travel distance, a little bit clicky for a limited vintage. Okay. Evo badging on the side. These door handles are almost make me want to take back my compliment for these door handles. Okay, they do. These door handles have an amazing treatment. Just very, very good. Side view mirrors are nice. The lensed headlights are really, really nice. And then the fog lights below are just great. The blank white license plate is very sharp relief from all of the deeper colors around it, the black and the red. The vent is a separate piece underneath there. It's cast right in. The side intake is nicely cast. The inside, it's like a coral color in the seats. Steering wheel feels a bit big. That's okay. I'm not going to be driving it, I guess. The wheels are amazing. Yeah. They feel just the right amount of silver. Tires, perfect. And so here we have, I think we have the opposite problem. I'm going to use the light again. I apologize if it's too bright, but I'll try and hit it with just the side. Oh, I can't get at it. I think, so you can see the Mitsubishi, you can see the Lancer, and yeah, it's there. You can see the Mitsubishi logo is the same color as the car, which is the opposite problem. The Mitsubishi logo was basically the only thing you could see on this one, and the other things were the same color as the car. But the taillights are wonderful. Again with the white license plate. They match the color of the spoiler to the car much, much better. This is so, this is a pretty good, well done Matchbox car. Of a cool car. It doesn't make the car seem very cool. It doesn't make the car feel very cool. Would be a complaint that I had. Aside from the front headlights and maybe the spoiler color matching, I would say this is done really well. But this is done, at a very different price point, obviously, but this is done just pristine and just with little touches that make it a very, very cool seeming car. First of all, the red, obviously, that's the big one, but also the coral seats. It's an odd but very compelling, weird little detail. Yeah, the white license plates, which, I mean, they do a lot. They really pop on this particular model. And the headlights and the taillights are flawless. You almost don't notice them as separate parts from the car, which is, you know, you pick it up and you're like, oh, that front end looks great. You're not like, oh, this headlight here has a bit of flushing problem or something like that. It just feels like the front of a cool car. Yeah. I mean, there are some issues with this as compared to other Tomica Limited Vintage. The travel distance on the suspension being one of them, but that's okay. This is very cool. So I think we opened with a very cool car, and then we ended with a very cool car, but I think there was more in the middle too. Okay, so this Matchbox we're going to put to the side. This is not the best. This is pretty good. This is great. Let's put this here. This was pretty good, but... and this was really well done, but also had... Actually, you know what? I don't think it did have very many problems. And looking at it, I think it's very cool. And then there's the Shaggin' Wagon. I mean, that's a pretty good lineup of cool cars. Very different cool cars. I mean, you know, these are both vans, but they elicit very different emotional reactions. And, you know, we've got a British and Japanese, American, and cartoon. And those are the four different continents of the world. I really hope you like this video, and that you're having a good day.